For someone who's never seen a game with USCP, what would surprise them?
First of all, you can find the games on YouTube. US Soccer has a lot of links out there, so you can look at the game on US Soccer's YouTube channel, and you can catch all the action from previous events. I will also whisper, and please, maybe you shouldn't put this out, but I'll give you a inside scoop that we might be bidding for the World Cup. So there's another.
You heard it here.
Yeah, another World Cup. I didn't say it too loudly in 26 after the practice round with in June and July, the CP World Cup. We hope to host our National Training Centre later that year, so you can see it live next year. But if you log on, you have a look at some action. What you're going to see? Well, you're going to see 7v7. There's no offside, so there's lots of action, lots of goals. Other kind of rule differences. It's 30 minutes and a half, so the intensity is really high. Actually, when you look at the GPS readouts, if you look at distance covered by one of our CP players in 60 minutes, it's akin to MLS Next U19 player in terms of distance covered and number of sprints because of the game with no offside. And you'll also see an interesting part of the game. We talk about borrowing things from different modalities of the game. The throw-in can happen in two ways. You can either throw it in overhead, or you can roll it in like a bowling ball, and that makes the action goes very, very quickly. So yeah, you'll see a 7-side game, lots of action, and lots of goals, and you'll see every single player showing grit, determination, and pride, and playing for their nation, like we see at every level across US Soccer.
Honestly, I think, sorry, Gus, but I really think that the rolling throw-in would have been a huge benefit across all leagues. I feel like it's just such an opportunity to keep the ball that way. And in my mind, it ensures that there's not as many turnovers, which makes the game a lot more fluid, which I feel like is a watcher's paradise.
It is. It's almost, honestly, I say this all the time, it's almost archaic that we're still throwing the ball in.
Yeah.
Because the way that the sport has changed now, right? That people are jumping up for headers. Of course, kick-ins would never work, but this is a way, and the ball's got to touch the ground within a meter, so it's very quickly thrown in, and the action's away again. Of course, you can do it overhead, but it gives you this secondary option to play the sport.
We've got a lot of other teams to ask you about, but last one for you is, you mentioned Copa America coming up. You mentioned the drop from 4th to 5th in the world. We're excited to watch the game at all times, but one of the things that gives us a little bit extra is rivalries. Is there a clear rival that we should know about? And is there one other nation that we should be watching out for?
Yeah, who do we need to hate?
I didn't say it.
Well, Argentina.
Yeah. Already got it.
We've got a real rivalry with our Argentina. We tend to meet them in the medal rounds a lot, and it can go either way in terms of results. We've knocked them out World Cups, and they've done vice versa to us. So I'm sure at one stage in that tournament we're going to meet Argentina, and then possibly on to Brazil after that. We've beaten both of these nations in the past. And so we're going to go down there to Uruguay with the intention of winning gold, and it's certainly within our grasp. And I'll tell you, it really is interesting. We talk at US Soccer about style of play a lot. We talk about player profiles, and I'm sure you've had guests on talk about the US way and how we like to have this golden thread run through all 27 national teams. But no matter the discipline, truly, whether it be beach soccer, futsal, CP, power soccer, or deaf soccer, when you think about a nation and their style of play, it's what you see no matter the discipline. So if you think about what the women's Argentina team would be like at 11s or men's at 11s, it's the same style of play. It's obviously different players, but the style of play is the same. In deaf soccer, it's the same style and approach to the game. Let's call it approach to the game as in CP soccer. So yeah, if you tune into that's in October. It'll be an exciting period for CP to set us up for what's ahead with the World Cup, maybe 12 months later.
Love it. I'm ready to put Argentina on top of the bonfire and Brazil in the middle.
Man, Kling, you do not take prisoners. It
Nope.
is not happy-go-lucky.
As a U.S. soccer employee, I did not stand by those remarks.
Yeah, I know. Kling's out on her own. She's allowed to say whatever it is she wants. We're so excited to keep watching and checking out the CP national team. We are also really excited because we have a bunch of interviews lined up for each of the specific extended national teams that you've talked about to learn more about them, including we are going to be talking in this episode with Morgan Church, head coach of the women's beach national team. But besides beach, which we'll leave aside there, we just want to ask you some quick questions about some of these for more people to get involved. You talked about searching on a lot of these. For the futsal national team, just tell us a little bit about sort of what the landscape is right now and how people should engage with this team or what they should be looking forward to. Because I know the women's team had a historic moment recently.
Or even what is futsal for some?
Kling, that's a better question.
I mean, what is futsal for the people that don't know? Because I think even people that are huge fans of 11s still might not know what's the difference between futsal and 11s, including like the different equipment, the different field surface. So I'll let you tackle that first, if you don't mind, Stuart.
Yeah. So I suppose that this goes back to, I'm going to be very general at the start, and then I'll talk about futsal. We have a challenge, right, across the nation about growing the sport of soccer. We still meet people and we're still explaining what soccer is. So can you imagine the challenge with the extended national teams department of then explaining what these other disciplines are and raising awareness? So it is a challenge, but for futsal, what it is, it's an indoor version of the game. It's played on the court. As we like to say in extended national teams, we play on the grass, the court, and the sand. So this is a court version. For our teams, it's a FIFA tournament that they play in every 4 years. There's a World Cup, and qualification is through CONCACAF, our regional qualification modality. And our women's team started this year. It's 5v5 indoor, 25-minute halves, high energy, high skill level. Your first touch better be good, and your ability to get out of trouble with a step over or a quick release pass better be there, because these players have such a high level of skill and fitness. And I was lucky to be at the qualification competition with our women's futsal national team this year. Unfortunately, we just fell short of going to the very first FIFA World Cup, but we're just starting. But these women, these ladies, perform their hearts out, and it's such a bright future for the sport. We have players on our women's team and men's team that come from such a variety of backgrounds. We've got non-traditional route players that they've maybe played in Hispanic leagues, Latino leagues, and then found their way into futsal. We have players who are on NWSL rosters, that back end of rosters, and then played futsal growing up and come onto the team. And then we have out and out purists who've just been playing in gyms across the nation. It's the only sport. They don't know what 11-a-side is. They don't care what it is. They only play futsal. How dare you bring up 11-a-side to them? So we've got players across our futsal community and beyond who come into our national teams, and my goodness, what a skillful players that we have there. And then NTC, our National Training Center in Atlanta, will have a bespoke facility just for them to come in and hone their skills, and seating there for, we talked about fans and growing the game, and spectators, fans to come in and watch them train and play against opponents. So yeah, so that's futsal. And maybe I'll just, I know you touched on it, I know Morgan, who can speak better than me about beach soccer, but we have the sand version of the game, 5v5, short duration periods as well, and lots of throwing bikes, lots of overheads.
Every bike kick you've ever seen.
Tackles are like Greek wrestling at times. That's where a tackle is. I know you like your tackles, Morgan.
I have a lot of questions about defense from Morgan, I have to say.
Yeah, I'll let her get into it, but I'll tell you one of the most interesting things, and I was speaking to our analytics manager today about getting information to our coaches and players. They have a live DJ playing the entire time. So
I have complete FOMO.
Yeah, it is unbelievable We were at the World Cup in Russia. They actually had a DJ versus a band interacting during the game, while our players are trying to hear instructions from the coach to win the FIFA World Cup. So it's was 35,000 in the stadium. So unbelievable atmospheres on both futsal and beach, and a way of interacting with the game like no other. Maybe I was going to say, most people say strap the boots on to come, Meghan, but maybe take the boots off, and maybe this might be another way of wearing the crest.
And bring a koozie, you know, keep your sparkling water cold like I got over here. But I love just the iterations of the game and how many different ways that it can be played. I always like to tell people I love soccer in part so much because all you need is a body and a ball. And I truly think that it's a sport made for everybody. And it's really cool what we're doing with ENT through US Soccer and giving accessibility and visibility to people who truly deserve an opportunity to play a sport that brings joy to so many people and not just the people playing it. So tell us more about the deaf soccer team, and how that works, and what can we expect from our deaf U.S. national teams? Yeah,
so to make the deaf men and women's national team, you have to have a hearing loss in your good ear of 55 decibels or less. So that's the impairment that these players will have, and many of our players play at a high level, and have some hearing loss at the same time. Amy Griffin, a former gold medalist with our women's national team, is the coach of the deaf women's team, and they'll alongside the men's team will be going to the Deaflympics in November this year in Japan. To play against the top nations in the world. Our deaf women are number one in the world, and we've got a new head coach in place with our deaf men's team, who we believe can climb the deaf men's team up the rankings as well. So yeah, they have Deaflympics this year, and their women are aiming for gold, and the men are certainly trying to get there as well.